Hey Houseguests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our houseguest of the day is Anona Osentowski. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it and we really could not do this without you. So we think you're awesome and thank you again. And if you guys want to be houseguest of the day like Anona, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so when we left off yesterday, Jackson had just told Kat that he needs to disassociate from her. He can't be seen around these parts with her anymore, and he can't be seeing her parts. So he said, you're a liability for my game, I need to focus on my own game. But we know it's because he wants to focus on Holly. He wants to have a showmance with her. Y'all are gross. Okay, so a little while after that, Kat was talking to Jess in the bathroom area, and Jess is like, I just know it. Jack is going to be sending a girl home this week. And home meaning they're going to stay in the house, but they're going to be eliminated from the game, at least for now. Yeah, probably, right? So Kat says, I don't want to freak out, but I heard that I might be going up as a pawn again this week. Jess confirms that she heard that too. So then Kat's saying she's going to be pissed and petty if she is somehow evicted this week and she has to stay in the house. She is not going to be happy about it. She's going to be all pots and pans, all that nonsense. So Jess is like, even if you go up, I think you're just going to be a pawn, so don't worry about it. Does anybody else think that Jess is just trying to like manifest Kat going up on the block so she doesn't? I think she knows in her heart that she is definitely a candidate to go up on the block this week, but she's really hoping that it'll be Kat next to Kemi and not her. Unfortunately, pretty sure it's gonna be Jess. So then, yeah, Jess should be worried about going up herself, but she's like, no, Kat, it's fine, you're fine, you're gonna be the pawn, it's fine. So then Kat shares that Jackson pulled her aside and says that he has to distance himself from her. So Jess is like, do you think it has anything to do with him getting closer to Holly? Oof. Yeah, for sure. So Kat's like, yeah, I brought that up to him, and Jess says it just doesn't make sense that he can't be friends with you, but he can be friends with Holly, Sis, and Jack. Why is that okay? Right? So anyway, Jess says maybe Jackson is trying to create a divide between the girls and like turn you and Holly against each other. No, I think he's just like an F-boy. Jess has a theory about Jack. She thinks that he called that house meeting and told everybody, you can't talk game with the comebackers, because he had something going on with Ovi before and he doesn't like need people comparing notes and like finding out that he's working with everyone. I don't know that that's necessarily true, because I think pretty much everybody at this point knows that Jack is working with everyone, or is at least trying to. I think he did that because he's a control freak and he thinks that he can tell people what to do. Just my opinion. So Jess is saying, like we've heard her say so many times, that she wants to work with all the girls, even if she doesn't get along with all of them. And I think this is a mistake. I think, again, you need to just focus on a smaller group within the subset of girls. It doesn't have to be all the girls, because there's just some that are not gonna agree with you. They're not gonna want to stick with all the girls. That's just how it is. So you gotta focus on the ones that actually want to be there working with you, right? So she says she never wants to vote out a girl over a guy, but I mean, if there's two girls nominated, they're kind of screwed there. So then Kat brings the conversation back around to Jackson, because duh. So she's like, Jackson told me that I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and Jess says, I think he was talking about Holly, because Holly has been hinting that you've been draining all of her energy. I wouldn't say she's been hinting it. I would say she's been ranting on endlessly about it. But I guess hinting is a little bit nicer, right? So then Kat says, sorry, bitch, you should have come with more endurance. Oh my god! Okay, I have to say, Kat has gotten like 1000% funnier, more of a gamer, and just like overall more pleasant ever since Jackson dumped her. She's so much more enjoyable to watch. It's crazy. So anyway, Jess is telling Kat, you should just keep hanging out with all them anyway, you know? Who cares what they say. So then some shit hit the fan for Jackson yesterday. At one point, he came out of the diary room crying. He was all upset, and supposedly wasn't he the one in his pre-show interviews that said that he hasn't cried in like years and years and years or something? Well, he was crying. So Kat sensed the distress and immediately homed in on him. Do you guys get the vibe that maybe Kat thought that Jackson was crying about his situation with her, and like that's why he was all upset? Because that's kind of what it felt like, but that wasn't what he was crying about at all. So Kat goes over to him, and she's like, I just want to make sure that I didn't do anything to make you upset. And he's like, no, you didn't. It has nothing to do with you, and I can't talk about it. I effed up. So Kat says, I hate seeing you like this. I hope you're okay. And Jackson says, I'll find out in 84 days. That's assuming he at least makes it to the jury, and let's hope not. Hopefully he'll find out sooner. So anyway, we're gonna talk more about this, of course. Jack and Christy were talking in the backyard, and they were both sharing stories about, it sounds like about what they've been reprimanded for by Big Brother in the diary room, because Jack was saying, we already heard this, how Big Brother told him to watch his mouth after the whole stomp a mud hole incident. And Christy was talking about, she said something about a massage, I don't know, and it could have been taken out of context, so Big Brother warned her about that. So it sounds like Jackson was reprimanded for something that he said, and honestly, you could take your pick out of a bunch of different things, because he has said a lot of really problematic things already. So Jack and Jackson were talking in the backyard, and Jack said, if it's what I'm thinking it was about, it wasn't that bad, so like you don't have to worry about it. And Jackson's like, I can't talk about it because the live feeders will go back and look for what I said. Ooh, sounds like BB is on high alert right now. They're not even waiting for the stories to break. They're just going in there and being like, you should watch what you say, because honestly, there is like a line here that I think Big Brother is afraid is going to be crossed. It's not going to be like, whoa, I love to hate this guy anymore. It's going to be like, I don't want to watch this show anymore. You know what I mean? So I think they're really freaking out about that with all the offensive comments that have come out so far this season. So of course, when they're talking about this, the feeds flip. But now the question is, what did he say? Or at least we know what he said. But what is Big Brother reprimanding him for? Because it sounds like, after hearing more discussion about this, this particular incident was when Jackson said that he wanted to mule kick David in the teeth. And at the time, Jack told him, whoa, buddy, cool your jets. And you know it's bad when Jack has to tell you to cool it, right? So that was pretty bad. But then, that happened the night before, I believe. I think that happened on the 3rd. But then, that morning, the 4th, before he got the warning, did Jack and Jackson both drop the F-bomb? So Jackson was talking about how he's gonna get under David's skin. He's got this whole plan. He's gonna beat David at his own game, like leaving dishes in the sink and leaving crumbs on the counter, blah, 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 blah. And then Jackson said, he's a N-word. I'm not gonna let him get under my skin. And then Jack said, he's a N-word, bro. What? Okay, so it's hard to tell for sure if they actually said the N-word, because Jackson was kind of like mumbling a bit, but it definitely sounded like it could have been that. And if that is what they said, that's like really, really effed up. You guys can check it out for yourselves. It was July 4th, 11:23 a.m., cameras 1 and 2. And if you don't have the live feeds and you can't flash back, it's floating around all over social media. So just like search for it and you will find it. That's like really, really messed up though. Really messed up. So anyway, David is just trying to organize a freaking cornhole tournament and people are being a-holes about it. How dare he try to do something fun, especially on the 4th of July. Sorry for breathing. I mean, really. everybody was, because he was saying that he wanted to set up 8 teams of 2, and then they would all like face off. And everybody was like, oh my god, he's just doing that because he wants to see like who's working together and who wants to play together against each other. Even Cliff, I was so sad. I was so disappointed in Cliff. Even Cliff was like, David's new to the family, you know, it's too soon for him to be organizing activities. What? I think Cliff is kind of like feeling a little bit desperate right now because I think he's a little bit worried about his position in the game. So he's trying to throw David under the bus, but it just makes me really sad. So then, this is crazy. Kat tried to talk to Holly, and Holly completely shut her down. It was wild. So Kat was like, hey, my love, can we talk for a second? And Holly said, I don't have the energy. So then Kat's like, no, it's not anything about game. And Holly says, I know. But if it's anything like remotely serious, I don't have the energy today. So Kat says, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. And Holly says, I already had a breakdown and I don't want to exert any more energy. I'm just depleted. So then post-breakup Kat says, have you been taking your daily vitamins? And she also asked about electrolytes. Oh my god. And then Holly's like, oh, I guess they haven't kicked in yet. So like she was laughing, but like, damn, you're just gonna like shut somebody down like that? That's wild. And then to make it worse, Holly went and hung out on the boat lounger in the backyard with Christy and Sis. She wasn't too depleted to talk to them. Woo! So she was telling Christy and Sis about what happened just now with Kat, and then Christy started complaining about David's cornhole tournament. Oh, you can't make this shit up. All right. And again, here we go with Kat. She was all over the feeds yesterday. Kat is really stepping it up now that Jackson has dumped her. So I think also she's spending a lot more time talking to people that maybe she wasn't talking to as much before. And I think that's going to be really good for her. So she was talking to Jess on the hammock and she was like, I think people are overestimating David. They're freaking out way too much about this whole cornhole thing. It's not that serious. So then I agree with that. But then she was like, also I'm not paranoid. She says other people are paranoid and it's making them think that she's paranoid. I could see that to a certain degree, but she was absolutely over the top paranoid last week. That is a fact. But I think people were making it worse because they were like, oh my god, Kat's gonna freak out. And of course she started freaking out when she heard that they were thinking she was gonna freak out. You know what I mean? So it's like this vicious cycle. But anyway, Kat says she feels kind of stupid now because the people who were orchestrating last week's eviction, so that means like Christy, Jack, Jackson, they were all telling Kat that she was safe from the very beginning of the week. They really made her believe that she was part of their group, and now all of a sudden Jackson like separated from her. So Jess is insisting that he did that because Kat is going to be going up as a pawn this week. I think that's wishful thinking again. Alright. Anyway, Nicole, Kat, and Cliff had a quick chat yesterday. They feel like the energy is weird in the house. A lot of people were mentioning that yesterday. Cliff's like, I wonder if it's because David's around. And then there was also mention like it's a holiday and they're not at home with their family and friends, so it's kind of like a weird vibe in the house. But I think a lot of it has to do with the new twist and also like Jackson getting reprimanded by the DR, and it was a lot of different things contributing to this weird energy. So Kat told Cliff, again, she thinks people are overestimating David. Cliff does not seem to agree. But Cliff says that he feels disassociated at this point. He doesn't feel like he's at risk of going up or like in danger this week, but he feels out of the loop and like something is off. It's a very uneasy feeling, and they all agree, like they feel like they're at the bottom of the totem pole. Maybe you should, I don't know, ban all the outcasts together and make a new totem pole? Just my opinion. But this might be why, like I said before, Cliff is being such a snitch and selling David out to everyone because he feels really insecure about his position right now. So he's doing anything he can to put the target on somebody else and somebody that everybody can rally around targeting. which is crazy because David's not even like technically in the game at this point. So then later David was talking to Jess, and we missed the beginning of this conversation, but it sounds like he's telling her that everyone outside of that big alliance has to band together or else they're just gonna get picked off. He's like, look at what level 6 did last season. Do you really want that to happen again? So he's saying, I can read the table. I saw what the vibe was during the house meeting that Jack held. You know, I can see what's happening here. And he says that was a really big move for Jack to be like, yo, nobody talk game to the camp comebackers. You know, so he wants to make something happen here. He wants to go against that big group. And I say, wake up, Jessica. Listen to what he's saying. You know what a huge advantage that is to have somebody come in with totally fresh eyes. They don't know what's been going on the last 2 weeks, so they can come in and be like, whoa, I see this person, this person, this person. They're all working together. He's got fresh eyes, and that really could be helpful this week when you're trying to figure things out. So I hope more people are going to listen to him. Alright, so then, non-game related, the house guests made a slip and slide with garbage bags yesterday. They had a really good time with that. And then the feeds went down for a little bit for their 4th of July party. So Big Brother gave them food, they got to listen to music, and not too long after the feeds came back, the house guests had to go back inside because there was a drone. Ah! It's Mysterio! Did you guys see Spider-Man yet? It was really good. Okay, so anyway, a little later, they got some fruit pies from Pop TV. Yum. All of a sudden, I'm craving apple pie. So then later, Jackson, actually this was a little bit after they had their pie, Jackson was whispering to Kat in the bathroom area, and of course it's more about his scandal. So he says that the internet is spinning what he said about David into a race thing, and Kat's like, I had a feeling, you know, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but I told you so. So then Kat's telling him, like, you know it's not a race thing, so relax. And he's like, well, America doesn't. We see it all, and we see that it is definitely a race thing. Come on. So Kat's like, America's gonna grasp at anything they can, and it'll be blown over by the time we get out of the house, as long as you didn't say like a literal slur. I have 2 things to say about this. Number 1, racism is more than just slurs. You can be a racist and never say the N-word. And then number 2, it's possible that he did say the N-word and it was caught on the feeds anyway. Just putting that out there. Alright, so then let's check in with Obi. What's Obi up to? I feel like he's just chilling right now, kind of, because like everyone's freaking out about David. So a lot of the heat is really off of him at this point. So he was playing checkers with Nicole. They were talking about, you know, the possibility of him coming back into the game. And Nicole's like, there has to be a reason why Big Brother is keeping the evicted house guests in the house. It has to be more than just the social aspect. So Nicole's telling him, you really need to pay attention to all of the competitions that you get to listen to, because that could be part of the battle back competition. It could be, because it sounds like Obi was saying that before they did the comp, they were telling them, you know, really pay attention, because like this could come up again. So it could be something to do with that. So then they start going over the order of elimination in that HOH competition so that Ovi will have that ready to go. Alright, so then later, Kat was chatting with David in the storage room. I think it's really interesting now that she's kind of gravitating towards him because they're 2 of the kind of like outcasts in the house. So she tells him, hey, just so you know, you've got a huge target on your back. He's like, yeah, I know. I think he knows, but still, nice of her to tell him. So she also lets him know everyone was freaking out about the cornhole thing. They said that you were just trying to see who was aligned, and I think that is a possibility. I mean, it's interesting to see like who wants to play together and whatnot, but David says he wasn't. He was wondering why no one wanted to play. That makes me so sad. So then Kat's advising him, you need to be careful about stuff like that because people are looking for any little thing to call you out on and to like cause suspicion. So just be careful. So then they were talking again a little while later in the boat lounge, and David said, there is a powerful 4-person or more alliance. Now, if you really want to play this game and get vengeance, there are more people than them. You know, there are other people that you can work with to go against them. So David says that he's been telling people, you know, all the people that he noticed during Jack's house meeting, all the people that look nervous, he's been telling them, you need to make something happen here. You need to set something up to protect yourself, or else you're just gonna get picked off. So Kat's like, wow, I wish you were in the game. And David said, me too. And I said, me too. I feel like if David is back in the game, he can really get all of the stragglers together into one group and make this a little bit more interesting. They need a leader. So meanwhile, Grateful was meeting up in the HOH room, and they're all excited because this is the first time that they're actually all together in one room. So they make these like bird noises and do like this, like I don't know why it's like a bird thing, but sure. So they're all freaking out about that. And then Jack gives the quick plan for the week because he only had like 2 minutes to get all this out. So the plan is pretty simple. He's gonna nominate Jess and Kemi. He's gonna tell Jess that she's the pawn. One of them, one of the Grateful Alliance will win the POV, they hope. Leave nominations the same, and then they vote out Kemi. But if the veto is used, the plan is to put up Kat as the replacement nominee, but the target would still be either Jess or Kemi, whichever one of them is still up on the block. We'll see what happens. Okay, so then Nick and Bella were the first to leave this meeting, which left that group of 6 within the group of 8. They've been calling themselves the 6 shooters. So they were like doing their finger guns in a circle. And then they said, all right, hands in for Shitty 6. And like, I'm not just saying that. They called themselves Shitty 6. I could not have picked a better name. So yeah, they do their bleh, and then that was the end of that meeting. So yeah, this morning, no crazy revelations, pretty much the same stuff going on. I just want to mention too, there wasn't that much game talk yesterday because Jack was like, it's a holiday, I don't want to do game talk. So he didn't have like all the one-on-ones or anything. He's gonna be scrambling, or not. Maybe he'll just be like, I know what I'm gonna do, I don't need to talk to anyone. So today they had the Whacktivity competition. It was the chaos theme. The players were Jack, Jackson, Holly, Tommy, and Sam. And the feeds came back a little while ago. I want to say they were down for like 4-ish something hours. I don't remember exactly, but I'm not sure who won. We might not find out until Sunday. Hopefully whoever won is gonna like give us a little wink or something. But we'll see. I mean, there's not a ton of good options in there. I would hope that either Tommy or Sam would win, but like, as much as I love Tommy, he's in the Grateful Alliance, and then Sam is not in that alliance, but he wants to be with those people, so it's like, yeah. Alright, well, anyway, if we find out who won that competition, I will put it in the info box below, and also check back later for nominations. It should be Jess and Kemi going up on the block, but we'll find out for sure later. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until next time, much love.